world economy has been brought to a standstill by coronavirus, with consumer demand adversely impacted. And like many industries, the gems and jewelry sector in the country too is grappling with the pandemic. But at the same time, it has ushered in changes aplenty. To unfold the near and long-term strategies of gems and jewelry industry, the Economic Times presents Bejeweled 2020, a mega platform bringing together senior industry leaders and stakeholders to discuss and debate the current challenges, opportunities, and the way forward, which will leverage digital transformation in its many avatars. First up, Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Council Chairman Colin Shah shared his views on how the sector will recalibrate and respond to recover from the risks of the COVID era.
The secret of change is to focus all of our energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new, and that's what we intend on doing. Post-COVID, the industry is very clear that the time now has come to truly make India the greatest source for gems and jewelry. We truly need ease of doing business. We need to eliminate the paperwork that we have in our country. We need to work very hard on demand creation. We need improved credit for our industry and especially the MSME sectors. And we seriously need to work on India's image globally and in India, that it is a hub for design and quality and not only for cheap labor. Lots of opportunity to again make in India, become Atmanirbhar in the true sense of the word. And I can only end by saying that difficult roads usually lead to beautiful journeys. And we are hoping that post-COVID, that's what happens to our industry. Thank you.
Next up, Rupa Datta, Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce, shares insights on revival, growth and opportunities in the gems and jewelry sector.
The gems and jewelry sector is one of the most important sectors of the Indian economy, and it contributes about 7% to India's GDP. It is also one of the main thrust areas for export, and its share in country's total merchandise export is around 12%. This sector is also one of the leading sectors in terms of employment generation. I would also like to say that while we have been facing some problems, but we are very confident, and we in government are working under the directions of our Honorable Prime Minister and our Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister. And we are working as a team along with the industry and trying to take all possible steps to promote ease of doing business, to see how business can be improved, how exports can be enhanced, and what are the revival opportunities, and what are the steps we are planning to take in the future.
Next up, our panel of experts discuss the need for reimagining business models with the help of innovation. Let's listen in.
Mr. Ajoy, post-lockdown, what kind of sentiments are you seeing in the jewelry sector?
It has been a slower start initially in the first 1 or 2 weeks, but very interesting to see that the recovery rate is pretty good. We are seeing 65 to 70% recovery. If I look at our Golden Harvest, which is that monthly savings where people save up and buy jewelry, people have continued to pay Golden Harvest, and there are fresh enrollments happening, which indicates that going forward, people expect to buy jewelry. Even diamond side is slowly picking up. There is a lot of interest in coming online, discussing with us, shortlisting products, then going offline and buying it or buying it online. So there is a lot of digital impact that I think all of us have experienced during the lockdown, which even customers are seeing.
Mr. Shankar Sen, our gem and jewelry sector is a huge contributor to the economy. So you as a domestic council, what are your expectations from the government to overcome this crisis, this challenging situation?
From the initial period of lockdown, in the first week of April, we have decided to raise a huge fund for helping the karigars. Not only for few organizations, but across the border. And we have particularly identified those karigars who are in the grassroots level artisans. And we have disbursed almost 1.25 crores among them during the whole April and mid of May. In general, we have seen that banks are coming, especially the public sector banks, those are coming forward to support with a COVID loan. Many organizations, including the gem and jewelry sector. and these are helping to mitigate some of working capital requirement for running the establishment.
Mr. Kansham Dolakia, tell us about the diamond industry, the diamond demand post COVID. How you are kind of coping up with your sales, and what kind of a feedback you are getting it from your customers.
इंडिया में डायमंड की बात करें, मैन्युफैक्चर की और एक्सपोर्ट की बात करें तो एक्सपोर्ट में अभी जो डिमांड है वो हांगकांग और चाइना का ही है। अमेरिका और यूरोप थोड़ा स्टार्ट हुआ है, और ये सब जो प्रॉब्लम हुआ है कोविड का, तो डिफिकल्टी तो प्रॉब्लम जरूर हुआ है, लेकिन यही सिचुएशन में अपॉर्चुनिटी भी मिलती है। लोगों को 2-2.5 महीना थिंकिंग करने का, नॉलेज पढ़ने का, बहुत टाइम से दौड़ रहे तो इंटरनली जो सिस्टम है वो स्ट्रॉन्ग करने का भी समय लोगों को मिला हुआ है। तो अपॉर्चुनिटी भी बहुत दिखाई दे रही है। और मोस्ट ऑफ डायमंड फैक्ट्री में भी बात करें तो करीबन 60-70% फैक्ट्री में लोगों ने उसका एम्प्लॉय को सैलरी दिया। डायमंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इतने स्ट्रॉन्ग बन गए हुए हैं कि बुरे समय में भी उसके एम्प्लॉय को संभाल सकते हैं, जो हमारे सभी के लिए अच्छी बात है।
We move on to Mr. Mehul Shah. Indian diamond industry is a very dominant industry. Post lockdown, how are you seeing your exports opening up, and how are the factories doing?
So presently, the whole world is going from the economic crisis. Diamonds and jewelry is something one buys at the last. Presently, gem and jewelry exports are down by 70 to 75%. Factories are presently not working much, very, very small, maybe 10% or so production may be there. Lot of migrant workers has gone away. And in this scenario, though we are selling about 30% of the global sales is registered, but the production is not there. So there is no rough import, no production. So one fine day in few months, there will not be much diamonds left in the pipeline. There was a bad time of COVID times, but now things are opening up. Slowly we are coming back, and we have understood very well. And for some time we need to learn to stay with COVID also. And I see in the long run, there will be a good time, but it will take some time.
Thank you very much, all the gentlemen, for sharing your insights on this wonderful virtual platform by ET.
The gem and jewelry industry is going through a lot of changes thanks to the COVID situation, thanks to the way that things are happening all around us. One of the biggest challenge that the industry is facing right now is to make the consumers still feel needed and wanted in terms of buying of jewelry. So the adoption of technology is very, very critical in today's day and time to make it as an enabler for the people, for the consumers to buy jewelry very easily. And very, very important in today's day and time is taking care of our manufacturing sector, taking care of our laborers, our karigars as we call them. The handcrafted jewelry is something which is a rarity. No one in the world can make such beautiful pieces of jewelry that is made in India. No one can make the diamond jewelry that is made in India, because India is supplying 70 to 80% of the diamond jewelry to the whole world. So in this kind of a scenario, our consumers, our customers should respect and love the product, and it is our duty as the industry to make them knowledgeable and aware of these facts and make sure that the industry survive through these tough times.
We provide solution to create unforgettable customer experience. The complete, secure, integrated, cloud-based jewelry solution has been developed and refined app by app, feature by feature, which is simple, easy to use, and above all, effective. One-stop integration for the scattered solution of ERP, e-commerce, and tax accounting software. Adding integration with AI further strengthens Optigo in this segment. Optigo stands as one of the most scalable solutions, witnessing 1 million transactions per day. After COVID-19, e-commerce with a real-time inventory is a truly game changer. Full-fledged customer portal drives transparency in a business. Optigo helps to thrive a business by cutting down cost and improving the revenue per employee. The team at Optigo hopes to completely transform the jewelry industry. With easy 3-step migration, we assure you a cutting-edge digital business solution for B2B and B2C.
It's a new normal, so we also have taken a new initiative to start our business to boost it as it comes in. So we were in constantly touch with all our customers, consumers on webinars, motivational programs, and strategical programs So during this lockdown, they can utilize their time. We had made a special video to boost the confidence of our customers so they understand how we ensure the safety of our people as well as their safety. We are looking for what the product goes to them are completely safety. And because it's a new normal, that everything is going to be new. So with the same old kind of product range, it may be difficult for us to grow. The entire team has worked hard during this lockdown, and we have come up with a very new product range, which is very exclusive. And we also started online. Yeah, we were never on online before because we being into the diamond jewelry. We never thought that online is going to be so good. It has given a tremendous response to us during this time, and we hope that is going to go great.
I think digitization is the biggest disruption is happening in the industry, and it is going to be seen in next decade. And this digitization, many industries have already taken a facelift in the last decade. Somehow jewelry industry has been slow in adopting it. But this has been started now. This digitization is not only going to help the online business, this will also help the offline business at the store as well. This is going to make a huge impact towards the offline business as well. And this digitization, which we are seeing in the last decade, is going to make a lot of business changes in the end and the business efficiency. And another change we are going to see, customers are getting more and more comfortable in buying the higher ticket sizes online, and we will see a growth year by year in this side as well.
Welcome back. Up next, in an exclusive interactive chat, a panel of experts shared their business strategies on how technology has enabled better overall user experiences.
All of you are from, a very good mix of technology and jewelry side. Okay, how is it that your offerings have made the jewelry projection or the jeweler's projection, far more wholesome with what you are doing? So I'm going to ask Meghna to begin with that.
So I'll just begin with sharing, how I started. I think I had this whole vision where I realized that there was a problem. And the problem was that jewelry is a very capital intensive industry. So for a jeweler to expand is a huge challenge. And I saw how in US, people were using makeup on augmented reality. So I could try on lipsticks without wearing it. And that was wow. So that is when, with my whole experience, I realized and I felt that if there was a technology which was seamless, where people could try on jewelry without actually having to wear it, it's going to help jewelers at a very different level because they will be able to give more access to designs to their customers and not just at a specific location, but across the world. And that was how Mirar was born. So I think the most important thing about augmented reality, it literally diminishes the whole rule between real and virtual. Currently, we are working with around 150 plus jewelers in India and abroad. And we've seen how augmented reality increases engagement and creates a great experience for the customers. There is a lot of resistance in using technology, but I think that will go with time. So the most important thing is the mindset, and that's opening because people have become more acceptable to technology, and which is a great sign again.
Amruta, what is the USP to your product?
My product actually, we started with the first feature of the virtual try, so wherein the user will get the mirror-like experience. So it means that if I am wearing an earring of 2 by 4 inches, 2 by 4 centimeters, for example, and if I stand in front of a mirror, and my face looks at a particular size and the jewelry looks of a particular size. If I move forward or backward, then my face size decreases or increases, and accordingly the earring size increases or decreases. So this gives a perfect virtual try environment for the user. So we kept on adding the features like trying on the photo, which I've said right now, and then the users can actually resize the jewelry also. Means if I want to resize the 2 by 4 centimeters to 3 by 6 centimeters, I can make it, I can resize it, and then I can actually try it on me before I give the customization. So these are the few of the like the USPs or which we have inbuilt, and we have a very long list, and the forward also we have a very long list of adding the features to the things, and based on the experience.
Now over to Rupesh. Rupesh, what I want to ask your feedback on कि last 3 महीने में last 3 महीने का story अगर आप Rupesh, if you can tell me.
So we have seen a great change in the entire user behavior in last 3 months, to be very frank. So March 22nd, we all know the lockdown happened and we all were in very panic mode. But suddenly in next 1 week, we started seeing a lot of online traction coming, and number of users turning from offline, or the consumption of online media had gone up drastically. So we really saw that a lot of people who were supposed to buy the offline world, due to the lockdown, they couldn't buy, but they still turned to the entire online platform, and they purchased a lot of gold from there. So that was really a big learning for us, that if we really keep innovating things and bring solutions to the people will keep coming online. So I really feel that as an online platform, we still have a lot of things that we can capture, and we can see a lot of user behavior and still big ticket value. We have also seen our ticket value to go up almost by 30% in this lockdown.
Moving on, global experts shared their valuable strategies on how to build a sustainable business in the post-COVID-19 era. Let's listen in.
Dubai and Thailand, places where the lockdown has been eased, business has returned. What are your experiences, in terms of how the business has shaped, and what are the lessons that people from India can learn from Dubai and Thailand? Chandrubai, if you could, probably start.
Dubai has taken a unique step, and they have started everything. Right now, the business is a little tough. The reason being, we have a majority of our customers are tourists. So it's a tourist-based economy. So it is a little tough, but I'm sure as soon as the tourists start coming in, I think we will start going back to normal. It might take a little time, maybe around 6 months' time, but Dubai is known to spring back every time. For the jewelers in India, I would say have faith, just a little bit of time. Definitely it will take time. We have to be patient, but at the same time, we have to be conscious of one thing. And that is, the Indian-made jewelry especially is all handcrafted jewelry. And what I fear more is the loss of the skilled technicians and artisans.
Yes.
We should try and preserve that culture. So this is a testing time when we all have to jointly take care of them, so that our business survives in the future also.
Kunprida, if I could get you in, what is your experience?
Of course, during COVID time, there is a lot of uncertainty in your so-called livelihood. Therefore, people are very cautious in what they want to buy. A few months back, food and drug is important. So right now it's a bit better. But we jewelers are at the end of the pipeline for now, except for one specific kind of jewelry, which is basically a jewelry for investment.
Yes.
We're talking about pure gold and all that stuff that you wear as jewelry. That is very much in demand. The demand and the supply are now actually coming together at the same time. We have a funny supply. We have people who are selling gold back, and that actually happened on the first day when the gold shop were open in April on the 17th. And people who sell gold back are obviously the people who suddenly found that they make money on the gold that they have bought, because by that time on the 17th of April, the price of gold has gone up dramatically from what they have bought. So for them, it's a good chance to actually cash in and make a big profit. And I keep saying that gold for investment and the ornament gold along the way, from now, during the COVID time, until even the post-COVID time, because as of now, it's become very clear that investment in gold jewelry or in precious metal jewelry or in gemstone jewelry is now would be a norm. As of now, during COVID and post-COVID, it will be a norm until very well into the middle of the decades.
So, John, during the period of lockdown, the only way people could buy gold was largely investment products. We saw significant jump in investment products. There were news of refineries in Europe sold out of their products. India saw a massive jump of digital gold. In absence of consumer demand, how long can investment demand kind of push? the demand higher?
So far this year to date, we've seen about 690 tons of inflows into ETFs. And that seems to be the way that most investors are accessing the gold market at the moment. Yes, we've seen a pickup in coin demand in the West and some reports of bar demand in the West as well, but those markets are generally smaller. We have a gold valuation framework tool on our website, which allows you to put in estimates of economic activity and credit spreads and other macroeconomic inputs. That suggests to us that putting in consensus numbers for global growth and other forecasts, that we could see investment demand strong for the next few years. It's going to take a while before we can start thinking about what a post-COVID environment looks like. And I think the middle of next year is probably about where I'm expecting it as well. So consumer demand is going to probably improve quarter on quarter from what will probably be a low in Q2, but it's going to take another year or so before we can start talking about a normal market. So let's hope, for the sake of overall gold demand, that investment flows do continue. Historically, they have continued for a few years after crises such as these, and I suspect that this is going to be a bigger economic crisis than anything that we've seen during our lifetimes, much more so than the GFC.
The big shift that I see happening in the industry is the transition to virtual sales. And I'm not talking about the 15% year-on-year growth that's happening in the online channels. I'm talking about the in-store virtual sales. Now, the important thing to think about is that brick and mortar jewelry store owners are looking at delivered price on an individual diamond basis. So because they're selling it on an individual basis to end consumers. So in a virtual sale, you're selling one engagement ring to one customer, and therefore you want to purchase one diamond. So they're costing it based on that diamond's cost price, plus the shipping, insurance, and bank transfer fees. For manufacturers to be competitive on the front end during that sale to the end consumer, they need to be working with an order fulfillment partner to reduce the cost of shipping, insurance, and bank transfer fees for the retailer and thus the end consumer, and for you to be more competitive in the final market.
Vision 360 is an automatic system for high volume polish, rough diamond and jewelry photography with the interactive online view. It creates a virtual diamond and jewelry shopping experience that simulates the store shopping experience, gives the shoppers a realistic view in a virtual environment. Vision 360 is the most experienced visualizations company of the diamond and jewelry scanning in the world, and every second scanned diamond images come from the technology of Vision 360. And more than 80% of DTC site holders using our systems. So the most important thing is to sustain the economy around the world, and for the diamond industry, we provide a 360 view which covers every position of diamond to see the inclusion and color of the diamond. So on this basis, you don't have to make too much effort to show the diamonds to the customers. Vision 360 is a technology that helps to scan the diamonds, and customer can feel it real to see the inclusion and gives more confidence to the buyer, which I think in itself is a very big change in the diamond industry, and I feel very proud that it was our company that brought these changes in the industry.
Jewelry retail is passing through a challenging phase because of COVID-19 as well as continuous increase in gold prices. The first challenge is more and more people are comfortable buying things online, but jewelry needs to be touched and experienced before buying. The only way to bridge this gap is to use an online channel for narrowing down the choices and choose the final product by personally verifying and experiencing. With Ornet eRoom, jewelers can provide both these options to their important clients. Another challenge for retail jewelers is striking the right balance between inventory investment and profitability. Ornet NX has taken initiative in that direction by developing effective technological solution for the same. With this solution, retail jewelers will be able to invest smartly in inventory, but will be able to provide much wider choice to their customers.
what is the cause of the disruption and what can happen is you need to look at the millennials, because 27% of the population today is aged between 20 and 30, and this millennials are actually not at all looking at investing in gold, physical gold. They have a lot of options for investment. In fact, the sovereign gold bond is one better option for them, where they are paid interest on their investments in gold by buying a bond. So slowly and steadily, their investments from the physical gold is shifted to digital gold, and digital gold in a shorter span of time, I think shall take over the investments as far as the yellow metal is concerned. Gone are those days when families used to go to the jeweler's shop and buy gold jewelry with heavy gold jewelry and all. Important thing is to keep in mind this generation, the future generation, because they are going to be the major customers for all the products to be offered as far as gold is concerned.
Artificial intelligence and augmented reality bridges the gap between the traditional way of having the jewelry stores and digital purchases in digital era. Try Before You Buy from Purple Apple has an AutoFit feature which allows the users to try jewelry in the real environment with exact size as if they are trying in front of the mirror. In the present COVID situation, Try Before You Buy is a boon to jewelers to engage the customers safely. Thank you.